Okay, here's a look at a book that I decided to write after finding my birth family. On this pursuit, there were very shocking discoveries that impacted me at my core. I received answers, but also was left with questions, some of which will never be resolved. Nevertheless, this is a look at my journey, and I'm going to read the intro to you and a portion of one of the chapters of the book. My adoptive parents were very forthcoming in telling me that I was adopted. It was helpful that they were very honest, yet it left me with a host of questions and concerns. It left me void of the knowledge of who I am. It left me with a hole in my heart and an ache in my stomach. I reflect compassionately for anyone who has encountered anything remotely similar. I often ask myself, how do I get past feeling abandoned? How do I live my best life and the best life possible when I have so many questions? How do I learn to love even though I feel rejection at the very basic level of where love comes from? My birth parents. My long life fight has been to overcome the rejection in my soul. I knew that I couldn't give up. I would keep looking no matter how long it took, determined to someday find my family. It began with a search for my birth mother. It was a painstaking journey to find her, but I knew I needed answers for my personal well-being and closure. Days turned to months. Months became dormant years. 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. I wrestled with the need to know. I questioned if I'd regret the pursuit later. I'd lived my entire life as an adopted only child who was lost and void of identity. That was the life I knew. Did I really know what lay behind the horizon? Was I ready to find out the truth? I acknowledged that I was not ready and never would be. But I had to find her. Okay, now I'm going to go to one of the chapters. Let's see, let me go here. Needless to say, when the CI, that means court intermediary, informed me that a cousin responded by letter and was willing to correspond with me, I was ecstatic. We exchanged letters and eventually email during the time of several months. During the whole process, no names of any individuals or anything that could give away identity can be disseminated back and forth. The CI monitored the exchanges for several months, 2017, and finally, toward the end of the cousin was able to email me with actual family names. This is the email from my cousin. The first time I have names of relatives and information about the family that I could search. I'm not going to read that. You have to get the book. Moving on past the letter. As crazy as this sounds, in 2018, I typed in my mother's name on Facebook. I found a link on one of the Facebook pages to my cousin Lou, who had been writing me. I took a picture of the Facebook page that I thought to be my mom and sent it to Lou and asked her, "Is this her?" Lou wrote back, "Yes, that is my cousin," and my heart sank. I began to scroll down Mom's page, and that is how I learned who my siblings were. Then there was one picture that gripped me and caused me to freeze in place. Mom was standing next to an older woman whose face looked familiar. As I continued to scroll, I saw a post that read, "My beautiful, talented mother." But I could not believe what I was seeing. I stared at the picture and realized that the woman was someone I watched on TV and in film all my life. And she was my grandmother. Her real name is Alzenia. I looked on the list that Lou had provided me, but the world knows her as, and my heart sank again. I was at a loss for words and took time to process that I had connection to someone out in the world, and I was closer now than ever to getting that closure I so desperately wanted and needed. And I waited a day or two and tried to give the situation time and space to develop, but I was extremely anxious and nervous at the prospect that soon I could come face to face with the one person I'd sought my whole life. After a couple of days, I sent my birth mother a message. She did not respond immediately. In fact, I put a message in a comment on her page in hopes that it would get her attention. After a few days passed, she responded. At the time, no one was privy to our communication except Lou. My mother asked me to remove the public comment that I had put on her post for the time being. She needed time to talk with family and friends from her congregation. She needed time to process how she would break the news to those around her, and she had concern that it might not be accepted well by some. I understood and erased my message. Instead, we spoke privately for 2 months on Messenger. I saved those conversations. We talked on the phone once when initially meeting, and once when planning to meet in person with the siblings. The rest of our conversations, which was daily, was via Messenger and text. In June of 2018, I met Mom and siblings in person at a restaurant in Indiana. We cried. She really cried. An hour passed in the doorway. We didn't get any of it on video. She was so remorseful, crying and sobbed in my arms for almost an hour, apologizing for the adoptions. My siblings were in shock, I think. They didn't know about me. My first night spending Overnight with my mother, she stayed up trying to update me. I can't remember anything. It was all very shell shocking and so much information to take in. My mind could not contain it. And the fact that I was sitting in this moment looking at the woman who birthed me and had been longing to know her my entire life.